Admiral Rana Patel stood at the observation deck of the TSS Endeavour, Earth's first faster-than-light capable diplomatic vessel, watching the swirling purple clouds of the hegemony's capital world, Nexus Prime. After 6 months of careful negotiations, something felt wrong. The aliens' hospitality seemed practiced, rehearsed, like actors performing in an elaborate play. "Admiral," Commander Jackson's voice came through her neural link, "we've detected unusual energy signatures from the quantum archives. Our AI finished decoding the encrypted transmissions." Patel's augmented eyes narrowed, focusing on the massive crystalline spires that housed the hegemony's governing council. "Show me." The data streamed directly into her consciousness, and her enhanced mind processed it in seconds. Her blood ran cold. The hegemony's diplomatic overtures, their offers of technological exchange, their seemingly peaceful intentions, all lies. The quantum archives revealed the truth: Earth wasn't the first, primitive, civilization they'd encountered. They were the 27th. The previous 26 had all been uplifted, a euphemism for complete cultural absorption and genetic modification to serve the hegemony's needs. "Send everything to Earth Command," Patel ordered, maintaining her composure despite the growing anger in her chest. "Initiate Protocol Midnight." As her crew quietly began their emergency preparations, Patel reflected on humanity's unique path to the stars. Unlike the hegemony's member species, humans had clawed their way into space through centuries of competition, cooperation, and sheer determination. They hadn't waited for alien benefactors to gift them technology, they'd built it themselves, one breakthrough at a time. The hegemony had dismissed human achievements as primitive because they didn't follow the standard development path of most species. They saw Earth's quantum computers as crude because they didn't use crystalline matrices. They considered human neural interfaces barbaric because they weren't based on psychic resonance. Their arrogance had blinded them to a crucial fact: humanity's technologies weren't primitive, they were different. "Admiral," Lieutenant Rivera reported, "Earth Command acknowledges. The Phoenix Protocol is now active." Patel allowed herself a grim smile. The hegemony thought they were dealing with naive newcomers to galactic society. They had no idea that humanity had suspected their true nature from the beginning. Every diplomatic mission, every technological exchange, every seemingly innocent cultural interaction had been carefully designed to gather intelligence while presenting an image of primitive capability. The quantum shadow network, humanity's greatest technological achievement, remained completely hidden from hegemony sensors. While their hosts believed they were monitoring all Earth communications, the real messages flew back and forth through artificial quantum shadows, undetectable to anyone who didn't know exactly where to look. "High Council requests your presence, Admiral," Commander Jackson announced. "They're ready to present the Uplift Treaty. Inform them I'll be there shortly." Patel straightened her uniform, checking that her neural dampers were active. The hegemony's psychic probes wouldn't detect her knowledge of their true intentions. As she walked through the crystalline corridors toward the council chamber, Patel sent one final encoded message through the quantum shadow network: "Operation Stardust is go. May God have mercy on their souls, because humanity won't." The hegemony was about to learn a lesson that would echo across the galaxy: never mistake patience for weakness, preparation for primitiveness, or humanity's diplomatic nature for naivety. The species they planned to subjugate had instead spent months preparing for this very moment, and the response would shake the foundations of their empire. When the massive doors to the council chamber opened, Patel's enhanced vision caught the subtle smirks on the faces of the hegemony leadership. They thought this was their moment of triumph. Instead, it would be the beginning of their downfall, and the dawn of a new era in galactic history. Deep beneath the Martian surface, in a facility unknown to the hegemony's watchful eyes, Director Kamal Sharma stood before a holographic display showing thousands of quantum shadow satellites in their carefully calculated orbits. Each one represented months of secret launches, disguised as failed attempts at primitive space technology. The hegemony's observers had documented each failure with smug satisfaction, never realizing they were witnessing the deployment of humanity's most sophisticated defensive network. Final system check complete, announced Dr. Isabella Torres, her fingers dancing across neural interfaces that the hegemony would have dismissed as crude cybernetics. Quantum shadow field is stable across all sectors. The entire solar system is now operating under our stealth protocol. Sharma nodded, his augmented eyes tracking the complex data streams that showed Earth's true technological capabilities. While the hegemony saw a planet still struggling with basic fusion power, the reality was far different. Humanity had achieved quantum supremacy decades ago, but had chosen a different path than the crystalline computing favored by their galactic neighbors. Status report from Admiral Patel, he asked, though he already knew the answer. The quantum shadow network carried her messages instantly, undetectable by any known alien technology. Operation Stardust is proceeding exactly as planned, Torres replied. The Hegemony Council is preparing their fleet for what they believe will be a standard subjugation protocol. They expect minimal resistance. Across the solar system, automated factories hidden in asteroid belts continued their work, producing weapons and defensive systems that defied conventional physics. The hegemony's understanding of warfare was based on overwhelming force and psychic dominance. They had never encountered a species that had developed quantum-based stealth technology or weapons that could alter the very fabric of spacetime. Signal from Luna Base, announced Captain Wei, his voice carrying a hint of anticipation. The Gravity Lance platforms are fully operational. All 30,000 units are in position and cloaked. Sharma allowed himself a moment of pride. The Gravity Lances were perhaps humanity's greatest achievement, weapons that could create localized singularities, turning an enemy's own mass against them. The hegemony, with their massive crystalline ships, would never expect such sophisticated technology from a primitive species. Message from Titan, Torres continued. The quantum entanglement disruptors are primed. The moment the hegemony fleet enters the system, their fancy psychic network will go dark. The plan had been years in the making, ever since the first alien signals were detected. While other species waited passively for first contact, humanity had prepared. They had studied the transmissions, decoded the technologies, and most importantly, identified the weaknesses in the hegemony's supposedly superior civilization. New update from Admiral Patel, Wei announced. The Hegemony Council has officially declared Earth ready for uplift. Their fleet will launch within the hour. Send the final authorization codes, Sharma ordered. Activate all quantum shadow systems. Let's show them what humanity's primitive technology can really do. Across the solar system, hidden facilities hummed to life. The quantum shadow network, invisible to conventional sensors, began its complex dance of information and energy. Each satellite, each weapon platform, each defensive system was a testament to human ingenuity and determination. Director, Torres said, her voice solemn, there's something else you should see. We've decoded more of their historical archives. The species they've uplifted, they're not just culturally absorbed. The hegemony literally rewrites their neural patterns, erases their individuality. They become biological processing nodes for the hegemony's collective consciousness. Sharma's expression hardened. Then we're not just fighting for our independence. We're fighting for our very identity as a species. The holographic display shifted, showing the hegemony fleet preparing to launch from Nexus Prime. 300 massive ships, each one a city-sized crystalline structure capable of destroying entire continents. Under normal circumstances, such a fleet would be unstoppable. But these weren't normal circumstances. The hegemony was about to learn that their standardized approach to technological development had created a massive blind spot. While they had perfected their chosen paths of technology, humanity had explored countless alternatives, finding solutions that the hegemony had never even considered possible. All systems are go, Wei reported. Quantum shadow field is at maximum efficiency. As far as their sensors can tell, we're still shooting chemical rockets into orbit and arguing about colonial mining rights. Sharma smiled grimly. Then let them come. Operation Stardust is now in full effect. When they enter our solar system expecting to find a primitive civilization ready for conquest, they'll instead discover humanity's response to those who threaten our freedom. The countdown began. In less than 12 hours, the hegemony fleet would arrive, expecting an easy victory. Instead, they would encounter a civilization that had turned their own arrogance into a weapon, using their assumptions of human primitiveness as camouflage for the most sophisticated defensive system the galaxy had ever seen. The hegemony fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation, their crystalline vessels casting prismatic reflections across the void. High Admiral Zyxtal of the hegemony observed the primitive human solar system with disdain. Their sensors showed exactly what they expected: a handful of basic orbital stations, primitive chemical rockets, and absolutely no sign of any significant defensive capabilities. What the hegemony's sensors couldn't detect was the vast network of quantum-shadowed weapons platforms that had just locked onto every single ship in their fleet. In the command center beneath Mars' surface, Director Sharma watched the enemy fleet's arrival through quantum-enhanced displays. "Admiral Patel, are you in position?" "Affirmative." Patel's voice came through the quantum shadow network from her position on the TSS Endeavour, still docked at Nexus Prime. The Hegemony Council is gathered to watch their fleet's glorious victory. They're about to get quite a different show. Sharma took a deep breath. Execute Phoenix Protocol. Across the solar system, 30,000 gravity lance platforms simultaneously decloaked and fired. The hegemony fleet had no warning, no time to raise their shields. Localized singularities bloomed among their formations, the fabric of space-time twisting in ways their sensors couldn't even process. The massive crystalline ships, pride of the hegemony, began to crack and shatter under forces they were never designed to withstand. "By the collective!" Zyxtal exclaimed as his fleet's psychic network suddenly went dark, quantum entanglement disruptors severing their telepathic connections. "Impossible! These primitives couldn't possibly." His words were cut short as humanity revealed their next surprise. From the asteroid belt, thousands of automated strike craft emerged from quantum shadow, their hulls covered in metamaterials that absorbed energy weapons like they were nothing more than light shows. "Status report," Sharma demanded, watching the battle unfold. "Gravity lance attack successful," Captain Wei announced. 40% of enemy fleet destroyed in first salvo. Their formation is breaking apart. They're trying to regroup, but without their psychic network, their coordination is falling apart. Dr. Torres monitored the quantum shadow network's performance. "They're attempting to scan for our weapons platforms, but their sensors are calibrated for crystalline technology. They literally cannot see our quantum-based systems." On Nexus Prime, Admiral Patel stood before the Hegemony Council, who were watching their fleet's destruction in horror. "This," she announced clearly, "is humanity's response to your attempted subjugation. We knew what you were planning from the moment we detected your first signals. Every diplomatic meeting, every technology exchange, was part of our strategy to understand your weaknesses." The hegemony fleet attempted to return fire, their energy weapons lashing out at empty space where they thought they detected human vessels. But humanity's quantum shadow technology rendered their ships virtually invisible, while the automated strike craft continued their relentless assault. "Second wave of gravity lances charging," Wei reported. "Strike craft are herding the remaining enemy vessels into optimal firing positions." The battle, if it could even be called that, lasted less than 30 minutes. When it was over, the mighty hegemony fleet was reduced to crystalline debris floating in space. Of their 300 ships, only 20 survived, and those only because humanity allowed them to. "Send the message," Sharma ordered. Across all frequencies, in every language the hegemony used, humanity broadcast their terms: the Sol system is now a sovereign territory, protected by the Phoenix Protocol. Any further attempts at invasion or subjugation will be met with immediate and overwhelming force. Furthermore, we demand the immediate liberation of all uplifted species in hegemony space. Their neural patterns will be restored from the backup data we extracted from your quantum archives. In the council chamber on Nexus Prime, Patel watched the alien leaders struggle with their new reality. You assumed that because we developed differently than you, we must be primitive. You never considered that we might have intentionally hidden our true capabilities. Humanity didn't want war, but we were prepared for it from the moment we looked to the stars. The Council's leader, Supreme Overseer Ixil, rose shakily from their crystalline throne. How? How did you develop such technology without following the standard progression paths? Patel smiled grimly. Because we never assumed there was only one path to the stars. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology, it's our ability to imagine countless possibilities, to find solutions where others see only obstacles. You saw our chemical rockets and assumed we were primitive. You never asked why a species capable of quantum computing would still use such basic technology. The answer, she continued, is that every failed launch, every seemingly primitive test, was actually deploying components of the most sophisticated defensive network ever created. We played to your prejudices, letting you see exactly what you expected to see. And now, your empire of forced conformity and technological standardization has been broken by the very primitives you sought to subjugate. The Quantum Shadow Network carried news of the victory back to Earth, where celebrations were already beginning. But in the command center beneath Mars, Director Sharma knew this was only the beginning. Humanity had revealed itself as a force to be reckoned with, and the galaxy would never be the same. News of the hegemony fleet's destruction spread across the galaxy at quantum speeds, sending shockwaves through every civilized world. On the mineral-rich worlds of the Centauri Alliance, crystalline information spires pulsed with urgent messages. In the gas giant habitats of the Jovarian Collective, vast organic computing networks processed the implications. The impossible had happened. A supposedly primitive species had not only defeated the hegemony's main fleet but had revealed technology that defied conventional understanding. 6 months after the battle, Admiral Patel stood before the newly formed Galactic Assembly on neutral ground, a space station constructed through joint effort between Earth and various independent worlds. The station's design itself was a statement, combining multiple technological approaches rather than adhering to any single development path. The liberation of the previously uplifted species continues, Patel reported to the assembled representatives. Thanks to our quantum archive extraction, we've successfully restored the original neural patterns to 60% of the affected populations. The process is delicate, but we expect full restoration within the year. The Arxian representative, a being of pure energy contained within a gravitational field, pulsed with curiosity. What we don't understand, Admiral, is why Earth continues to assist these species rather than simply establishing dominance as the new galactic power. Your quantum shadow technology alone would make you virtually unstoppable. Director Sharma, attending via quantum projection, stepped forward to answer. Because dominance was never our goal. Humanity's strength comes from diversity of thought and approach. We didn't develop quantum shadow technology to conquer, we developed it to protect our right to choose our own path of development. We believe every species deserves that same right. In the depths of space, the changes were already visible. The hegemony's former subject worlds were transforming. Some chose to maintain certain aspects of crystalline technology while incorporating new approaches. Others completely abandoned their imposed technological path, rediscovering their species' original innovations. Dr. Torres, now heading Earth's Xenotechnology Integration Division, worked closely with representatives from dozens of species. The hegemony's greatest crime, she explained to a group of newly liberated scientists, wasn't just forcing their technology on others. It was suppressing the unique innovations each species might have contributed to galactic civilization. On a formerly subjugated world designated Haven, Professor Lyra of the restored Nalari species made a breakthrough that would have been impossible under hegemony rule. By combining their species' natural affinity for plasma manipulation with human quantum computing principles, they created an entirely new form of faster-than-light travel. This is what we fought for, Patel told the Galactic Assembly as reports of similar innovations poured in from across the galaxy. Not to replace the hegemony's uniformity with our own, but to create an environment where every species can contribute their unique perspective to our shared future. The aftermath of the Phoenix Protocol had other, unexpected effects. Species that had hidden from the hegemony began emerging from self-imposed isolation. The shadows of Proxima, a civilization that had evolved to exist primarily in subspace, revealed themselves after centuries of secrecy. They had recognized in humanity's quantum shadow technology a kindred appreciation for unconventional approaches. Captain Wei, now commanding Earth's first deep space research vessel, documented these emerging civilizations. "We're discovering that the galaxy is far more diverse than the hegemony led everyone to believe," he reported. "There are species that evolved along technological paths no one even thought possible. But not all revelations were peaceful. As the hegemony's control crumbled, evidence emerged of even darker secrets. Deep in their former territory, liberation forces discovered vast networks of quantum processors powered by the trapped consciousnesses of resistant species. The discovery strengthened humanity's resolve to completely dismantle the hegemony's remains. We understand power," Sharma addressed an emergency session of the Assembly after these discoveries. "We understand the temptation to impose order, to believe that your way is the only right way. Humanity spent centuries fighting among ourselves over similar beliefs. But we learned, through hard experience, that true strength comes from embracing diversity, not suppressing it." The Galactic Assembly, once dominated by the hegemony's crystalline aesthetic, began to reflect this philosophy. The station expanded with sections showcasing different architectural and technological styles. Species that had hidden their true capabilities under hegemony rule began sharing their innovations. "The galaxy is entering an unprecedented age of innovation," Patel observed as she watched ships of wildly different designs dock at the station. The hegemony claimed that technological standardization was necessary for stability. They were wrong. True stability comes from strength through diversity. In the quantum archives beneath Mars, Director Sharma and Dr. Torres continued analyzing the vast store of hegemony data, ensuring no other threats lurked in the shadows of space. But their work now focused primarily on sharing knowledge, helping liberated species rediscover their lost heritage while exploring new possibilities through collaboration. The message was clear: humanity's victory hadn't just broken the hegemony's power, it had fundamentally changed how species across the galaxy viewed progress itself. The era of enforced conformity was over. A new age of unlimited potential had begun. 5 years after the fall of the hegemony, Earth hosted the first Galactic Innovation Summit. The event took place simultaneously across multiple locations, from the underwater cities of the Pacific to the orbital platforms of Luna, showcasing humanity's embrace of technological diversity. Representatives from over 300 species gathered to share their unique approaches to science, culture, and progress. Admiral Patel, now serving as Earth's ambassador to the Galactic Assembly, watched as a Nalari plasmaform demonstrated their revolutionary FTL drive to an audience of mixed species. Next to them, a team of quantum phase Proximan engineers discussed theoretical applications with organic tech specialists from the Jovarian Collective. The sight would have been impossible under hegemony rule. "Remarkable how quickly things have changed," observed Director Sharma, approaching Patel's observation platform. "Did you see the latest breakthrough from Haven? They've combined their restored biotechnology with our quantum computing principles to create living memory crystals. Completely different from the hegemony's forced neural modifications." The summit represented more than just technological exchange. It was a testament to humanity's vision for the galaxy, one where progress wasn't measured by conformity to a single standard, but by the successful integration of diverse approaches. The quantum shadow network, once a weapon of war, now served as the galaxy's most sophisticated communication system, capable of accommodating any form of data transmission. Dr. Torres's Xenotechnology Integration Division had become the galaxy's premier research institution, not because it imposed standards, but because it excelled at finding ways to make different technologies work together. Every species has something unique to contribute, she explained to a gathering of young researchers from dozens of worlds. The key isn't to judge which approach is better, but to understand how different methods can complement each other. In deep space, Captain Wei's research vessel, now part of a multi-species exploration fleet, made contact with civilizations that had hidden themselves since the hegemony's rise. These emerging species brought their own innovations. Some had developed technology based on manipulating probability itself, others had found ways to communicate through quantum-entangled dreams. The hegemony's greatest failure, Wei reported during a fleet-wide conference, was assuming that technological progress followed a single, predictable path. They couldn't imagine that a species might choose to develop differently, might see possibilities they had overlooked. That blindness cost them everything. The liberation of subjugated species continued to reveal new wonders. On worlds where the hegemony had suppressed native technology for centuries, restored civilizations began rebuilding along their original development paths while incorporating knowledge gained from other species. The result was an explosion of innovation unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. But humanity's influence extended beyond technology. The principles of self-determination and mutual respect that Earth championed became the foundation for a new galactic society. The Galactic Assembly, once a puppet of hegemony control, transformed into a true forum for interspecies cooperation. "We're not creating an empire," Patel addressed the Assembly's 5th-year commemoration. "We're fostering an ecosystem. Just as Earth's biodiversity makes our planet stronger, the galaxy thrives on the diversity of its civilizations. Our role isn't to rule, but to protect and nurture that diversity." The quantum archives beneath Mars, once focused on defense, became the galaxy's largest open repository of knowledge. Species could share their discoveries while maintaining their technological sovereignty. The facility's motto, displayed in hundreds of languages, read, "Many paths, one journey." Professor Lyra, whose FTL breakthrough had helped usher in this new era, worked closely with human scientists to develop educational programs that encouraged innovation while respecting cultural differences. "The humans taught us that true progress comes not from following a predetermined path, but from having the courage to forge new ones," she told her students. Their victory over the hegemony wasn't just military, it was philosophical. As the summit reached its conclusion, Director Sharma stood before the assembled representatives to unveil humanity's latest initiative, the Diversity Drive. This massive project would establish research outposts throughout the galaxy, each dedicated to supporting the development of unique technological approaches. These stations would serve as neutral ground where species could collaborate while maintaining their independence. "The age of enforced uniformity is over," Sharma declared. "The future belongs to those who can appreciate the strength in our differences. Earth doesn't seek to rule the galaxy, we seek to learn from it, to grow with it, to ensure that every civilization has the freedom to develop according to their own vision." Admiral Patel, watching the celebration that followed, reflected on how far they'd come. The quantum shadow technology that had once hidden humanity's true capabilities now protected the privacy of developing civilizations. The gravity lances that had shattered the hegemony fleet were being adapted to create stable wormholes for peaceful exploration. Every tool of war had found a greater purpose in peace. This, she thought, is humanity's true victory. Not the defeat of an enemy, but the creation of something better in its place. As ships of countless designs departed the summit, carrying new ideas and possibilities to every corner of the galaxy, Patel knew that the real dawn of the Terran Age wasn't about human dominance, it was about human wisdom finally finding its place among the stars.